At least 58 people now dead.
A school shooting with reports of multiple fatalities.
One of the top schools in the state. Parkland consistently voted one of the safest communities in America until today.
The way shootings have affected me, they've affected me before Parkland happened. Sandy Hook, I was in middle school, and that was the one that kind of woke me up because I was getting older, so I was able to be more aware of what was happening. And then when Pulse happened, I was still not out to my friends and family, and I was about to come out to them around that time. But then after the shooting in Pulse happened, there was this fear inside me that because I'm gay, that I would somehow be hurt because of that. And so that forced me to still stay in the closet for another year because I was so afraid of what could happen to me. But then after I came out, I think I gained a confidence that made me realize that I need to fight for change, just how I fought for myself to be who I am now. And so I think that once the Parkland shooting happened, I kind of was reflecting on all the shootings I saw, and then that it sparked this idea in my head that I need to start creating change because this can't continue happening. How March for Our Lives came to Salt Lake City was that after the Parkland shooting, there was on a lot of different social media networks. There was a lot of people feeling frustrated with what are we going to do, what's next. Obviously, a lot of students themselves were worried about their own school and their own safety, since that's just a reality that every student in America deals with when they go to school. And then for Salt Lake City itself, I found a couple other activists like Elizabeth Love, for instance, and then that's when we decided, let's do something. Let's try to create some kind of event to bring the community together and to tell our legislators that enough is enough.
If you're swimming in an ocean of madness, it is difficult to recognize sanity. And that is what we have been doing for our entire lives. Swimming in an ocean of violent, unrestrained madness.
So when I spoke at the rally in Salt Lake City, and I was nervous, but as I got up there, there was this this emotion. It wasn't quite anger, and it wasn't quite excitement, and it just came over me. It was almost electrifying, but I just remember that as I started speaking, there was just more emotion pouring into my words, and I remember I was almost shouting, and I think that kind of actually helped make my speech more powerful.
How dare we question the status quo? How dare we ask not to be murdered? How dare we question this twisted world created by prior generations?
And I remember that as I was talking, because I'm a person that really talks with my hands, and I was trying not to do that, but then at one point I just started slamming my hand on the podium, and I remember that it was almost as if I took all my anger and frustration from all the past shootings, and I just pushed it out to show people that this is how it's affecting me, and this is why I'm up here speaking, because I'm frustrated and you need to hear that I'm frustrated. The way politicians have reacted has obviously been mixed. Some have been saying that the kids who are out protesting are just being manipulated by liberal propaganda. There's obviously politicians who send their thoughts and prayers, which do nothing, and they continue to think that's the solution, but it's not. And then there are some politicians that are fighting to try to put in different legislation. Like for instance, in New Jersey, they passed one of the most comprehensive gun reform bills in the state.
Fresh off the March for Our Lives, the New Jersey Assembly has passed not one gun control law or two, but 6.
And I think that it's a mixed bag depending on where you're at of how politicians are reacting. I think some are listening, but some are still refusing. Gun violence doesn't just affect students. Obviously, this is student-led, so we talk about how gun violence affects schools, but you can be shot anywhere. That's been in movies.
Lone gunman opens fire in a theater outside of Denver, Colorado.
It's been in concerts.
Country music star Jason Aldean was playing for thousands of fans, 22,000 fans, just after 10 p.m. last night, Sunday night, when the gunman began unloading hundreds of rounds into the crowd.
Restaurants.
An intense manhunt is underway for a gunman who opened fire early today at a Waffle House near Nashville, Tennessee.
All over the place. So it's not just the students that are threatened, everyone's threatened. So when people go to the polls, they should be voting for what will keep them alive at this point. I believe that change is coming, And I may just be an optimist because I think in a lot of these situations when it's a really dark subject, you have to be optimistic. But I've noticed there's a different voice because we keep on talking about it. Like, it hasn't died down in the media. Like, you still see news about the Parkland students. And I think change is coming. Politicians are making it part of their platforms and like the issues that they want to focus on in their campaigning efforts. So I think change is coming because it's become a focus point for the conversation about where our country is going.
Tell me a story, a happy fairy tale, where the kids come back home and the bad guy fails. Tell me that old lie that the world is fair. Don't tell me the truth I cannot bear. But it's okay to cry, just don't give up the fight.